here once again, working on this 71 Bronco. Okay, got it epoxied and then let it sit for a few days, went back over, buzzed it down. I think that's where I left off. I can't remember if I got a video of me cutting the fenders out or not, which maybe I'll make one on the front. Got some body work done. We had to shorten that panel a little bit here, weld up some holes over here. Had some trim holes that they want to delete, and these always get dented up. Basically, I think once the seal starts leaking, people just over tighten these and kind of mess up the top of that. We ended up putting this taillight pocket on, so we had to fill in where our holes were from our spot weld. Same thing on this one. This kind of beat up, and we got this quarter panel, something hit it along here, and then Phil came in and welded in a 77 style gas door. So we got that in here, so we'll have a flip open gas door instead of a hole or just a filler. Looks a little cleaner. These are always beat up from the seat belts hitting it, and something came up and whacked the rocker. Got the fan going, got the heater going. We're trying to get it a little bit warmer in here because I'm gonna back tape this thing. Oh, the heater shuts off. So I'm gonna back tape this thing, cover it in plastic, and then we're gonna 2K primer this thing. Got some 2K over there sitting where the heater was blowing on it, warming it up. Been over there for a couple hours. So before I go home tonight, I'm gonna get this thing taped up and into a 2K primer. Did get the doors, the filler work done on the doors. They've been sandblasted, stripped. We put a chassis saver. Sorry, my heater's on. It's a little too noisy, and a fan. So like air kind of circulating around in here. It's gonna be a little noisy, but back to we chassis sabered the hole inside of the door shell. This is all factory E-coat. So basically, this thing's completely been sealed up. Shouldn't rust anymore, and then we came back and hammered a door skin on that, put a rear quarter on it, got aftermarket fender, aftermarket door shell, and of course nothing fits, and aftermarket hinges. So we were trying to work this hinge over. Basically I put a pipe down in there and close it. It opens this hinge up this way, which got us away from our A-pillar here. This is the factory door jamb and door shell, so, and this is factory rocker. We just did a bunch of body work on it, got it straight. So we're trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. I've got my door too low here. I've finally got a good gap here. On these Broncos, you can really adjust the body position. Say you want to open this gap up, you could adjust this body mount here. It's going by there. By lowering or tightening that gap up, sucking this down will close this body mount, or by spacing it up will open this body mount this way. There's a body mount here about where your heel would sit. That's going to, if you space that up, it's going to bring your whole A-pillar up and back, and if you close that gap, it'll bring it down and in. And you can also kind of tweak it just a little bit with these front mounts. Can't get much out of those, nowhere near as much as you can on the other ones. But what I'm facing now is I've got my door gap, my rocker is pretty close. I'm going to have to trim this a little bit here because of our aftermarket door skin. And my gap is low here. First thing we're going to do is cut. This is that quarter panel I had to shorten up, so I did it a little long for some reason, but I'm going to make a splice through here, and we're going to hammer that over and try to get our door gaps fitting, and then we're going to adjust. Try to figure out why my door is hanging low. quite sure what that is, but we're gonna go ahead and play around with it, so I'll let you know as soon as I know what's going on. Alright, so I decided to put the driver's side on and see if we're having the same issues. And one of the things that I do notice on these is when you put the new door skins on, you're going to need to grind this edge back. So this is our original door skin. They actually give you too much metal and it sticks out past here. So the problem with that is when the hinge goes in here and the hinge folds over, it'll actually crease the door panel here and put a buckle in it up underneath here, kind of like what it's doing here. You see there's a little bit of a dent right there. We did grind out that side there, but I need to trim the inside of this door just a little bit because it's starting to pucker the door skin there and there. So I don't know if my lens will pick that up, but you could, before you put the new hinges on with a new door skin. We've got a decent line here, except for our fender still sucks. I did cut a quarter where I thought we were too far out. I got a pretty good gap here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down here a little bit further. I'm going to tap this edge over about the thickness of a cutting blade, cutting wheel, and then I'm going to re-weld it. I did have to take a little off here. Our quarter skin, or our door skin, was just about a 1/16 of an inch too long towards the front there. You can see where we cut off. So it was here, and then this, I don't know if that was the door skin, like maybe it didn't quite get pushed all the way up against that inner panel when we rolled it around, but that's kind of what we got going on there. I'm going to pull the door off and clean this up and then weld it. But the driver's door, we're going to have to come back and fix. I've got a little bit more of a gap here, not much, about 1/8 of an inch. So I think I could bring the door up 1/8 of an inch or so, and that would take the door and kind of push it into here. And then by doing that, we'll have to put our pipe back in here and try to drive the door back down. Or other thing we can do is put a shim behind here. They sell those shims at Tom's Off-Roads. That's kind of where I'm at on this. Got a good body line there. Tackle this quarter panel, weld that up, and put some filler on it, and we'll pull the door, well, at the bottom of the door, fill that edge because it's going to distort a little bit from us welding it, and then hopefully that door, I'll fill the door on, and maybe tomorrow we'll come back and get all that stuff in prime. Oh, we'll probably adjust the fender, even though I was tweaking on it, did get this gap a little bit better. I do think partly due to being a China fender, this is not stamped real well, and this obviously is not stamped too great. So this is actually holding the fender up probably too high. Looks like we could come down a little bit here, so just something that we're going to have to try to tackle. So I'm going to see if I can get going on this, and by the end of the day I'll have most of the fab work done.